In community organizing, free just isn't good enough anymore. People need to be incentivized. It gets tricky, though, when funds intended for the end user end up in the hands of another. At church, we had a free sandwich program. Word got out, and people from local shops and stores started showing up for the free lunch. At the recent presidential debate, moderator Dana Bash said groceries that cost $100 a year ago now cost $125. Maybe it's $125 to her, but to everyone else that I know, it's more like $200. We all wonder where racism and white supremacy live and operates. It lives right there between the $100 and the $200. None of us want to be inconsidered. You have to be considered before you can be disrespected. Most of us don't consider others, and we don't rise to the level of being considered unless you're one of those people loading up your cart at the grocery store while the rest of us are quietly putting items back on the shelf. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. Sunday Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. This Sunday, we talked about our consumer society, age discrimination, personal history, and scanning the dead. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from the Wisdom of Solomon. God did not create death. We all belong to the devil a little bit, and we enter into death due to his company. And from Corinthians, excel in generous undertakings. No one who has been given much will be given too much, and to those who have little, they will not have too little. The gospel reading was from Mark. Your faith has set you free. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Randy Hollerath. Randy said love trumps everything because it crosses over the barriers of class, wealth, and social status. That sounds good, but what does it mean? How can we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to allow love in? We can associate with the unclean, unacceptable, and unworthy, but we seldom see ourselves as unclean and unworthy ourselves. Why would we need to be the recipient of any kind of charity? The only vulnerability we know is feeling worthy enough to help those in need. There's a pretension in all that. When we consider we're the ones in need, it's a very humbling experience. Too much is given, much is expected. That's how we hear it in the Bible. But what it says is, to those who have much, they will not have too much. And to those who have little, they will not have too little. We chafe at the difference. We want to be vulnerable by not being too vulnerable, and worthy by not having too little. We can have our cake and eat it too. It's the only kind of vulnerable that makes us worthy. At St. James, the sermon was by Christopher Griffin. Chris preached about the future of the church. At the annual meeting of the Episcopal Church USA, the newly elected bishop, Sean Rowe, said the days of waiting for people to walk through the door are over. We can't serve the church by sitting here and waiting for people to show up. Chris said there's a story within a story. It's how we live our lives. We have to do the laundry, fix the dinner, and earn a living. These are the facts of our lives. We shouldn't conflate the facts with the truth, but we do it all the time. We're navigating the storm of our own lives amongst the cares and vicissitudes of the world. When those two intersect, it can get tricky. We can't be defined by our worst moments and entirely appreciated for our greater selves. We all ill-consider ourselves for better and worse. We miss the truth of our lives. Chris is correct. We can't do business as usual. We're greater than the sum of the parts. And when we enter into that reality, we see God's reality. It's the best way to be considered. It occurred to me over time that every church has a particular tone and demeanor. At Washington National Cathedral, they have a gentle prodding and nudging that we can do better. At Fourth Pres, the message was always someone is wrong, and it's not us. At St. James, it's more nuanced. While everyone else is playing checkers, they're playing kind of a three-dimensional chess game at St. James. It's hard to pin down. There's a lot of flexibility in it, but they give up a lot of control in the process. It's like handing out free sandwiches to everyone. I ran into a friend I hadn't seen for quite a while, and she told me that now she's spiritual, but not religious. She said she's exiting systems. We used to have these sermons about spiritual, but not religious, and everyone would kind of give a collective gasp. But I get it now. It's the gap between the $100 groceries and the $200 groceries. Pew Research has been telling us this for 20 years now, but we weren't quite ready to hear it or see it. In my years in interfaith work, I worked closely with Suzanne Morgan. We tackled topics including religious intolerance and homelessness. When I asked Suzanne what topic would come after all that, she said economic insolvency. That sounded really, really bad. At the presidential debate, no one was listening. Half the country can't afford groceries. There's a vulnerability in that. I guess you could call those people a basket of deplorables, and maybe we should. You need to be considered before you can be disrespected. There are many facts in the world today, many lies, and also the truth. We really shouldn't confuse the two. God doesn't confuse the two because he is the truth. And it's not only the truth, it's not a lie or a fact, it's life itself. If you would like to join us at Sunday Coffee Hour is every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time on Zoom. I'll include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.